All right.
Okay,
Welcome to
let's get started.
Divorcification, everyone. My name is Kirk Vaisola, and I'm here with
Ian.
And
Yes.
Christian. We're gonna get this right one of these times.
we even
Ian, you
talked
go
about who
second.
was
Oops.
KIC.
we even talked
There we
about the order. Yeah, KIC. You're kicking
Let's
it
start
on
it. One more.
divorcification. Yeah, so if you're listening to this for the first time, we're called divorcification because we were three dudes who have been divorced. I got remarried, so I was actually lucky and found a really good partner, really good person, friend who I love, care for, and find beautiful inside and out. And Ian is also with someone else, and Christian is also with someone else, and we're all moving on with our lives, but we are suffering the common trauma of divorce. And I say trauma because it is. It's something that you're used to. It's something you've done, and you have a commitment to someone. You think it's going to go places, and shit happens. Things pivot, and things happen. So sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. And we're talking about the times that it didn't. And we're going to pick specific topics I want to talk about. And one of the topics was respect that we thought of today. How to be mutually respectful of your partner, boundaries, wishes, and things of that nature. And it seems like it's such a small thing because we walk through this world and there's several people we encounter on a daily basis, unless you're a hermit like Ian, who sits in his basement all day, eating coffee grinds and fish heads in the dark. This is
What you
Ian's
just said
special
is
time.
completely inaccurate, by the way, because I sit in my attic, not my basement.
My bad. I totally forgot you
Okay.
moved from the basement to the attic, like
Ye-
a college kid who says I moved out when they moved to the
mhm.
basement
Like
and then they
like
moved
Greg
up like
Greg Brady. Yes.
yes, yeah.
From the
And then they
Brady
moved
Bunch. Yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah. Moved
Like
up.
the like the Jeffersons.
There you go. But no one's gonna
Moving
get that
on up.
reference. But yeah, I get it.
Well,
We get
some
it because
older
we're
people
older.
like
Yeah.
us will get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about respect and how I don't respect Christian, but do respect Ian. One of the
Um,
things that I'm realizing too, and I think respect does coincide with like belittling or not listening to someone or just not making someone be an equal partner. And I think that's what respect is. It's seeing a person for who they are and meeting them there, not trying to change them, not trying to do things, but also uphold people to be at a higher moral value and standard so they're not hurting others. So someone can do something that you don't agree with or say something you don't agree with, but is it disrespectful or is it harmful, right? Like, is it offend you or is it harmful? And that's another thing too. I want to know what you guys think about it. I think that as I keep talking, I think that respect isn't something that is
like
given. It's
Kirk
definitely,
gives us.
yeah, it's earned, right? And it's mutual. I think it's something earned through conversation and communication, truthful, honest conversation and communication. Ian, what do you think?
Well, since we chose this topic 5 minutes ago, I've been thinking a lot about what respect actually means in a relationship. But I think that relationships in general don't fall apart in one big moment. Usually, they erode slowly, and often it starts with respect slipping away, like through dismissiveness, through feeling unseen, through the subtle shift from giving your partner the benefit of the doubt to assuming the worst about them every single time. It all has to do with respect. So once respect starts to go, everything else follows. People get confused because we think that love is the foundation of everything, but love without respect can be extremely dangerous in a relationship. To respect someone really means understanding something simple. And it's kind of like what you were saying, Kirk. They are not you. Like they're not an extension of you. They're not a reflection of you. They're not a project for you to fix or to mold. You know, they're their own person. So the job in a relationship is to understand who they actually are and to figure out how your lives fit together in a way that works for both of you.
Yeah.
Christian?
Uh, well, both of you well said.
Okay. See you guys later.
Okay,
All
bye.
right.
I would say that I agree with you in that things change and it can be a slow erosion. When respect starts to disappear or go away, it affects trust a lot. And to me, trust and respect are really closely tied because if I can't trust that my partner has my back because I don't feel respected or there's this lack of, as Kirk was putting it, we're individuals, but we're in this together, then I think it also starts to really take out the elements of trust. And for me, trust and respect are really closely tied. If I don't feel like I can trust someone, then my ability to be really present and really vulnerable and also really there for that person just scales way back. And I get very protective and inward looking because it's my defense system. It's
Mm.
like I grew up in situations where there wasn't a lot of trust. A phrase in my family that my father used to say all the time, which bothered me then,
Trust
and
but
now is like,
verify.
exactly, trust but verify. And I hate that phrase because it's not trusting then. And you have to prove it to me or I'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, and I think what you're talking about too, both of you guys touched on something, and it was trust in not trusting someone based upon certain things that happen and you divide because they don't trust you anymore. And I think a lot of that too from you, Christian, it could be like a trauma response because I have those things too where something's happened and it's like, oh shit, that happened and this is happening again. So it's hard to get past that. But often I think
Sorry.
two people equate respect and fear because trust is respect, but respect is also fear. So like a mob, I think of a mob boss or like Donald Trump or anybody like that. And you have this whole thing of where someone says something to you and you do what they say because you're fearful of them. Whereas in a real relationship or good relationship, there's give and take, right? And Ian, you touched on there's give and take. It's not just someone giving and giving and giving and the other person taking and taking and taking because that doesn't work. And our neighbor came up from downstairs and was hanging out with us having cocktails. And she said, you guys are both givers to me and my wife. And that's very rare. And I think about it like, yeah, my last relationship, my ex was not really a giver. They could fake being giving, but they weren't really a giver. But it also allowed us to see each other for where we were and meet. You have to be able to come to an agreement together. You have to be able to meet somewhere, right? Like you can't just, it's always going to be this way or always going to be that way. You have to find a way to meet, be in the middle. And your dad telling you, Christian, trust but verify. I thought about that and I can see why you hate it because if you trust someone, you shouldn't have to verify. But if you're in a situation
Right.
where someone says, "Oh, just trust me," and they're a narcissist, they're going to tell you whatever they need you to say to get you to shut up and not look into it and just trust them blindly. So I think he was trying to approach it from a factual standpoint. Like someone can tell you something, but if you don't have anything factual behind it, then it becomes like the alligator in the sewer, right? That's the size of like it's a fucking myth, right? Or a fairy tale or a legend as opposed to actually having fact-based things behind it. So trusting someone that tells you something, okay, fine. Like, okay, I trust you because this is what you do. But if there's something you're doubting or thinking about, that means A, you don't have the relationship to fully trust them and you need to verify it yourself.
My philosophy has always been that I do trust you until you betray that trust.
Yes.
So I do give you the benefit of the doubt. Anybody, not just in my personal relationships, but people that I don't even know. Like I do trust people because I believe inherently, I do believe people are good. So I will trust you until you betray that trust, and then all bets are off. That's
Yeah. No,
that's sort of
that's
it.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, no, and that makes total sense. And the reason I knew what Christian was going to say because he's told me that story, and I do listen to you, Christian, even though it may not seem like I am.
I'm sorry, what? What did you say?
I said that I do listen to you. Why don't you listen to me? That's just
I'm
some
sorry.
bullshit, bro. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's I have to agree with you for the most part, Ian. And I always say something. I don't like people. I don't like people. I think the reasoning behind that is I don't like non-critical group thought. I don't like just going with masses. I don't like pretending to do something or be somewhere with people. I'm not going to sit there and talk about baseball or a movie you've watched all day. I mean, I want to know, like, hey, if you have brothers, you have siblings, like, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life as a child that now haunts you later to this day because you had no way to deal with it? Like, I'm gonna go there, right? I want to have a real interaction with people. I want a real conversation, and I just don't want anything surface and like a facade. And I think a lot of people move through life that way, where everything is just a surface conversation and it's not like real connection being made. And I think you have to
Let
have
me,
connection to have trust too, right? Which leads to
yeah.
respect. Hmm.
When first started dating again, one of the questions I would ask when I would go out on a date was like, "Tell me about your divorce," because usually the women that I would date, they were divorced already, and a lot of them felt uncomfortable with that question, being on the first date. Another question I would ask is, "Do you believe in God?" So I would always bring out all of these questions on a first date because I thought it
Smart,
just made it
dude.
more
Don't
interesting, and you find
don't
out a
waste
lot
any
about a
time though.
person. Anyway, talking about questions, like in my relationship, I was disrespected. And it also causes you to question yourself in a
Mm.
lot of ways. Like, what's your value? What's your role in the relationship? You question your identity. There were moments where I felt deeply disrespected to the point where I started internalizing some pretty painful beliefs about myself and sort of believing some of the things that were said about me, which I know now looking back weren't necessarily true. What was confusing is that objectively, like my life looked like it was working, right? I was married. I had two healthy kids. I had a nice house. I had two nice cars, and I had my dream job while making decent money and having great flexibility in my job because everybody had families. So,
Mhm.
everybody understood that you have other priorities in life.
Right.
And I was helping, through my job, I was helping kids and families, globally. So it was a big deal to me and it meant something to me. But if you look at it from within my relationship, none of that stuff really seemed to matter because our definition of value was different. So, like
Hmm.
among other things, the main issue was money, as it is in many marriages.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes I feel like I should have been like a hedge fund manager who like somehow was able to make it home by 2:45 to pick up the kids from school and, making my millions of dollars, but still taking all the kids to their activities. That was
Yeah.
like, that's what I felt like was wanted from me, which was very, very unrealistic. So like when one person starts defining the other person's worth through a single lens, not through meaning, not through their effort, not through their presence,
Well, what can you
just
give
for,
me?
yeah, just for their like output, right? That
Yeah.
also creates a really dangerous dynamic in relationships because I was showing up, I was present with the kids, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was holding things together, I had a good job, but I remember being told that those things didn't really count because technically we could just hire somebody else to do those things. Like we could hire somebody else to mow the lawn and do the yard work. We could hire a babysitter to watch the kids. So I was basically replaceable.
What was this what was told to you that we could hire people to do those things?
Yes.
Well, who's gonna fucking pay for them?
Right. Well,
Sorry,
that's
that's
true.
that's a
Like,
moot point.
You are, Kirk.
well, if I
You're
was
Yeah.
being
if I was a
paid.
hedge fund manager, there'd be no problem paying for all of these
It was
things.
it was a moot point. The point is oftentimes our worth is attached to what we can give in any situation, like being at a job, right? And me being a designer, and what can I do there? Being in any position, what can you give? That does not compute your value. Your value is immeasurable. Anyone listening to this, your value is immeasurable because you're worth something, not by monetary means, but by whatever you feel is right. And you were getting gaslit about stuff, right? And being told that you're not enough, you're not doing enough, and you need to do more. And that's just really bad. And Miriam, I always put on her, and this is really bad because I'm bad about it. I'm trying to be better. Is she always deals with our finances. And it's not about money, it's about how are you going to contribute with helping pay finances. Like she's not a money person, but she knows we need money to do shit and need money to survive. So we need to figure out our finances so we don't end up homeless or living in her father's rat infested basement, right? Like we have to be able to talk about finances, but it's not like about money. And I think there's a separation there. But it's not like I need money. I need money to survive, not I want money to do amazing things and to look important, right? So I think there's a difference between talking about finances
Well,
and money. And Ian,
Right.
you said that you were in this ideal situation. Everything looked great from the outside, but you're missing something. And to me, the hardest part about this whole situation, about the divorce and the treatment, when you look back on things objectively, is how can someone who claims to love you, right, do these things to harm you? And you're sitting there thinking, like, what am I doing wrong? What can I do? How can I fix this? And so you're just trying to do your best to maintain and try to fix things. But sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And it's not really something you say, oh, this is their fault or this is my fault. It's just shit that happens. But being able to recognize it and move forward is the most important thing. And all three of us have done that to some point.
Hey there, sorry to interrupt this fascinating. Hey there, thanks for. Hey there, thank you for. Hey there, thanks for. Gosh. So, thank you again, and. Hey there, sorry to quickly interrupt this fascinating conversation, but I just wanted to remind you to click the subscribe button if you like what we're doing. We're trying to build our channel, and we would greatly appreciate it. And back to the show. Yeah. I also
Yeah,
want to stress that this was obviously it's just between me and her, and it was just a moment in time.
yeah,
Like, we do get along great now. Like we're
right,
great friends. We co-parent. Like we
right.
probably have like one of the healthiest relationships as far as, divorced parents go.
Right. That's
But this
great.
was a moment in time, and things now,
That's awesome.
are really good. So that's good. But what she was saying to me then was like, I don't value
Hmm.
the value that you bring, right? Like that angle of respect disappears. And when that disappears, appreciation goes with it. And that's what happened. Like the
Yeah,
things that I was doing, they weren't appreciated when they were all coming from a place of love and trying to provide and do everything that I could do to make her life easier and the family life easier.
yeah, yeah. And that's tough, man. And Christian, were you going to say something? I cut you off or whatever.
E- That's all right. I don't get any respect. But
Rodney Dangerfield. I get no respect.
no. Um,
Again, nobody's going to know who Rodney
Yeah, that's all
Dangerfield
right.
is, but
Hey, we're
this is
old. We're
true.
embracing our age. God damn it.
yeah.
That's right. That's right. Ow, my back hurts.
My
So
sciatica.
yeah. I was thinking when Ian, when you were talking about the financial side of or the money, because I like Kirk that you separated finance from money, because I think the word money is an emotional word. It's like money has emotions attached to it, which is something I'm working on trying to figure out how not to do that because it doesn't work well when I think that way. And my partner now is she sees it as finance, right? And she sees it as there's no shame in any of this stuff. Growing up, money was this mystery. And then in my marriage, my ex took care of all the money aspects, like, the bills, knew where was things were going and coming. And I totally didn't engage in that part, which was a major error on my part because it put all the pressure of handling that onto her, but also I didn't know where we were. Not even snapshots in time. Like even if she did it all the time and like once a month I looked at everything. I didn't know what was going on. So like in my current relationship, the last weekend, we have this spreadsheet software program thing, and it's got all these jig jaggy jigs lines. She has hers. She set mine up. All my lines are going down, of course, because my career is fantastic, and hers are going up. But I was like, I don't even know what this means. Like I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I know what a graph is, and I understand up is good and down is bad, but I was having such a struggle with this conversation, the idea of even having it. Like I had anxiety before it started. I said, I'll be right with you. We're supposed to start at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. And I was like, who wants to do that on a Sunday? But that's what we were doing. And then at 10:45, I had the runs, like I just was in the bathroom because there was so much anxiety that was in there about it. Flash forward, the conversation wasn't as hard as I anticipated it to be because she doesn't attach shame to money at all. To her, money it's just a tool. It's here. We have to use it in the world we live in. We have to have it. And when I look back to my marriage, there weren't discussions about money except that there wasn't enough of it, which was on my side of the equation. My ex at the end, one of the things she did say was that she wanted a bigger life,
Mm.
and I understand that to mean
No,
more.
there's no other way to interpret that. You don't
Okay,
even have to explain it. Anytime
okay, then
someone
I won't.
says that
So
it's all monetary and
yeah,
fucking material shit. Like that's what that means.
and her current partner is a rock star, which is not a joke. He's a lead guitarist for a band. I mean, granted, they're not top of the charts anymore, but that's kind of funny to me. And for the most part, we get along well. My ex and I, and her partner and I, he's a solid guy. And I think this is a little bit of a stretch, maybe to the topic of respect, but I think it ties into the ideas of assuming the best of a person versus assuming the worst, and also assigning an identity to another that isn't
Mm.
necessarily accurate. Like one of the phrases I use now is like that's your narrative, let's say, or that's my narrative. It's like whatever we're thinking. But like in my marriage, I think one of the assumptions that my ex had was that when we first met, I was, making the best money of my life. I was working in television, which seemed fancy. And, things looked like that was the trajectory, right? That it was going to be a big life. And we went to Europe for 6 months. So she finished her first graduate degree. I went with her because I'm like, this is awesome, great experience. But I never got back to that level of income, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
perceived status of a title, or perceived, like the world likes, like, film and TV is like our royalty, right? Compared to Britain, right? Like we look at, Tom Cruise and he's like this celebrity or royal. But when that part of my life was over and I was trying to figure out what I really was supposed to do with my soul, which I think I know now, it didn't provide the big life. So her assumption of who I was supposed to be was projected from the beginning. And likewise, she was working in banking. And I'm like, oh, she's going to be a money person, right? I do need to say this, that she was the consistent money earner compared to me. So that is accurate, even though when things shifted, you know, she didn't stay in
Yeah,
banking.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, I need to own, that part of it.
right,
But this
right.
idea that someone has an assumption of who they are, I think that's kind of tied to respect in the sense that conception of a person needs to change with the person, right? Or with the relationship, or with the reality on the ground.
Everything changes, man. There's
Yeah.
nothing, there's nothing but life, but taxes and changes and death, right? Like everything changes,
Yeah.
no matter how constant it is. Cement settles and changes. Fucking rocks change. Everything fucking changes. And to have it set in your mind, and Ian said this, like it's like give and take, man. Like you have to be able to meet each other. And when shit changes, there should be enough of a foundation of a friendship and being open and honest with communication to where you can be truthful. That turns into respect, like the truth part of it, the truth aspect of it.
What happens when people see different truths? And that goes into reinterpretation of things. My ex had a different truth, and things that I did, she reinterpreted as something else. For instance, I was staying home with the kids a lot while she went to the gym. It allowed her like the flexibility to go to the gym because I was the kind of husband who would stay at home and support her and wanting to get back into shape. So I remember we were in an argument and I said to her something like that, well, because she wasn't appreciating me. So I was trying to make her see why she should appreciate me. So I said something like, me staying at home with the kids allows you the flexibility to go to the gym. And she sort of focused in on that word allow. And she said, you think you allow me to go to the gym? So
How
now, no
dare
matter how
you?
many times I tried to clarify what I said, like the rewritten truth became the permanent truth. So
That's
that became the
that's
truth at home, in therapy, with our friends. I was suddenly the controlling husband. And
that's Darvo, man.
and I
That's
think
a
that's also
narcissist
part
thing.
of like that's one of
Yep.
the disorienting parts of losing respect in a relationship because your intentions stop mattering. Like my intention
Mm-hmm.
was good, and then it got filtered through this other negative narrative. And that narrative is the way it stayed through the through the rest of our marriage. Because once she decided who I was, it was just hard to change it,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me
That's the
shut
same thing
down.
you did before. It's the same thing you've done. Like every single thing is bringing up the past of something that happened as opposed to allowing people to grow and change is totally different. Like I'm sure there are plenty of people who were once racist who aren't racist anymore, but they were allowed the chance to like change and grow. I'm sure people who are misogynist who are trying to be less misogynistic and they're working on that and changing and growing. But what you just talked about was Darvo, bro. Like she defended what she was doing by attacking and reversing the victim on you,
What's
right?
Darvo
Like
stand for?
defend, attack, and reverse victim
Oh, what Trump
order.
does all the
Yeah,
time.
defend, attack, and reverse victim in order. So like,
Got it.
so you defend it, and then you attack, and then you reverse the victim. So like the
Yeah.
reverse victim thing is you don't allow me to do anything. Not the fact that you were mentioning a factual thing that you were doing, it's the manner in which it was stated. No matter what you said in that situation, it was always going to come back to you because you could have said, well, me staying at home with the children is a great way for you to be able to go anytime that you would like to go. So it gives you flexibility and freedom to do that. If you would have said like, what do you mean I need flexibility and freedom? What's that? No matter what you fucking said, you were doomed from the beginning. And
Right.
that's a narcissistic thing, man. I'm sorry you went through
Yeah.
that, because that's
And
yeah.
then
Yeah.
I started thinking to myself, why even say anything? If what I'm
Mm,
going to say is going to get twisted, why even
yeah.
say anything? So I started to talk less. I started
Hmm.
to explain less.
Mm,
Communication
Hmm.
suffered because I didn't
Hmm.
want to say anything because I was afraid it was going to get twisted because I
because
didn't want to
you weren't
say anything.
respected. You weren't
Yeah.
respected, which
Yeah.
is what we're talking about. Like
Yeah.
she didn't respect you enough to have a real conversation in that moment, right? Like that's just what it was. And I think you said you're good before, and I wish I had those feelings with my ex. I wish had a better chance to co-parent, but there was just shit that was done that I've let go, but I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna set myself up to go through it again when it happened multiple times. I'm just like, nah, that's cool. I'm good.
Well, you had
Because
self-respect at that point.
yeah,
You started
right.
to your respect for yourself was more
Yeah.
important, and that's awesome. That's a great state. And I would say, as Ian was saying, the idea of retreating, not saying as much, keeping it in because you don't know how it's going to be taken, twisted, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally relate to that. And one of the things then what it starts to do is then it chips at the self-respect I may have for myself. It's like, well, this person that I've bared my soul to should know me inside
Yeah.
and out. Then if they see me as this, which is not positive, then okay, I must be doing something wrong. Maybe they're
Yeah.
right.
And
And
that's a major problem. I mean, I quiet up too with Miriam sometimes. And the funny thing is like our
no, you don't.
arguments,
You
I
don't
swear to
quiet up with
God, but like
anybody.
our arguments aren't arguments. But when we have like a disagreement or like feeling about something, it's just I get quiet because I retreat and I don't. And Miriam's like, "Why are you mad at me? Why are you quiet?" I said, "Because she's like, well, in these situations, I need for you to like talk to me and tell me." I said, "Listen, I don't react that way. I'm trying to, and I've gotten better, but like things she'll just be mad about." So now we have a code word. Like if
Mm,
she's PMSing, I just say flowers. Like not
okay.
are you PMSing or are you
Right.
hormonal? I just say flowers. And now she's like, maybe I don't know. My fucking body is going crazy. Like, okay,
I
honey,
would
I
say
love
that's
you.
a bouquet.
Yeah,
That is a
right.
bouquet if I ever heard one.
That's pretty funny. But no, and it's like every single thing that I would talk about with my ex, any conversation would just be a shouting match, not even a
Mm,
conversation. And that shit would go on for like hours, sometimes days. With Miriam, it's minutes.
mm.
We had a slight disagreement that isn't really even a disagreement, but it makes us both feel bad. So we're both like feeling bad and we make up. But and it's never like this crazy ass traumatic experience where I'm clamming up. It's just more of like, fuck, well, that sucked. We moved on. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad we talked about this. And I think that other people who may have bothered to listen as opposed to just clicking and running away will also be like, oh shit, that's something that is happening with me right now, or something that happened, because this isn't a one off or even a three off, right? This happens to multiple people, men and women, or relationships in general can be this way. So I want to let everybody know that we respect you after we trust you and get to know you. And and I really love Ian. Like I really love the fact that you said I will trust somebody off the get go. I will trust someone, and I love that, man. I want to have that thought process. I don't want to be too jaded. That's the energy and way I want to move through life, man. I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.
I don't know how
I
you do it.
sometimes feel the opposite. I wish that I was more jaded, but
Hey, man, I got enough jadedness for all three of us. Trust me. Like,
nice.
yeah, but
Uh,
yeah. Well, I
in
and
this,
no, I was just gonna close stuff up. You have a last thoughts before we close up?
you want to go?
Motherfucker, you were just
Um,
talking.
Oh, all right, I'll go. See,
uh,
that's actually the pattern I
listen,
have.
I'll go and then Christian, you can think about what you're going to say.
All
Yes.
right.
Okay. So, about respect, right? No matter if you're in a relationship or not, we all need it, not just from our partners, but from coworkers, from friends, and again, especially from people we're closest to. And of course, in a marriage or in a partnership or relationship, love matters, but love itself isn't enough because without respect, love can feel like
Yeah.
there's something missing, it's suffocating. It could feel
Yeah.
conditional if there's no respect between the two people.
I think that's a great way to put it, man. Self-respect. Let's call it that, right? Like we should just have room to give ourselves respect and love and trust and consideration and not feel like gaslit and know our worth. We need to be respected of that, man. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Christian, what about you?
I would also say the respect
Okay, thank you
is
guys so
about
much for tuning in to Divorcification.
the respect. There's respect for the relationship too,
Mm.
I think, which is something I don't think we directly
Oh,
touched on.
yeah.
But it's like if we respect this relationship and it's important to us, then we are going to work towards that or through it or with it, right? We're not going to assume the worst of the relationship either versus assuming the worst of the other person or the best. And I think at a certain point in my marriage, there wasn't much respect for the relationship itself. It wasn't just about lack of respect or eroding respect between each of us and or my own self-respect being eroded, but the concept of the union was
Mm.
losing
Hmm.
its value as a respected thing. It can start to feel like, like a burden unto itself,
Right.
And I think one of the things that I've always tried to, I still believe it in my heart, is that whenever there's a conflict, it's not 100% another person. I think everyone plays into it, plays a part. And I mean, I suppose there are some situations where that's
Christian,
not as cut and dry.
Christian,
Yes, my dear.
you're droning, man.
Am I? Oh,
Let's
I was
come
just,
back.
I was. I thought I
Respect the
was.
relationship. I asked you for your last thoughts, and you decided to start another podcast.
Okay, to me it was a similar thought, but I guess it's the ADHD. Well, we're gonna have a separate podcast called Christian's ADHD. Come
Yes.
along, try to follow. We'll have one of those ping pong balls on the screen
No,
jumping
man.
from
Yeah, and
sing
listen,
alongs.
and for those who like, God, that was really rude. Christian is tearing up. Christian's one of my dear friends, man. Like, I love you, Christian. I'm trying
I'm
not to
sorry, what? I
cry.
wasn't listening.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I always give
Uh,
Christian shit, and so when we're talking about respect, and he says respect relationships, I respect his relationship, and Ian, I respect yours too, and I really appreciate you both. And also, I really would like to say thank you all for listening to Divorcification. I am Kirk Visola,
I'm Ian Chernikoff.
And I'm Christian Halley.
and
We
we
did
will,
it.
and yes, and tune in next time when we talk about something else. And if you've listened this long, hopefully something else that you will listen to in the future will be just as fun. All right,
And
goodbye.
maybe it'll be funnier too.
Yeah.
Divorcification. Divorcification.